Well, he's done it for 7 years in Tulane now, and of course, we all know the 3 bowl games in a row, which is a university record. Been head coach all over the places we've talked about, but most importantly, Tulane's 3-0. This is the first time that's happened since 1998. We all know what happened that year, those of us that have been around and either been involved with Tulane, which I have been for many years, doing games and such, or have just lived here and grown up. It's pretty cool what happened that year. So I'm putting the onus on him. All he needs to do is go 12-0. It's no problem. So all good. Of course, 17-10 at Manhattan, Kansas last week. And if you believe, good things can happen. But then you go out and execute, and they were the equal and actually better than the team they played on the road. This weekend, Tulane renews a great rivalry with Southern Miss. And frankly, I'm thrilled to see that series resuming 4 consecutive years now. I hope it continues beyond that because it's been a terrific one over the years. Please give a warm quarterback club welcome to Coach Willie Fritz.
Thank you, Ken. Once again, thank you so much for what you do for high school, college, and professional athletics here in the greater New Orleans area. And I'm excited to meet David Griffin. I love the Pels and go to a bunch of the games. I got one thing I think you need to correct me. This is the only thing that my wife and I went to a game and I said, gosh, I wish I could have a chance to talk to old Todd Graffin. Most of you know Todd. Todd was the voice of the Green Wave forever. And in the third quarter, I went to the restroom, and he was at the urinal right next to me. So I don't know. I guess he's the public, the radio guy had run up there in the same place I was at. So it was great to watch all the success that you all had with the Pelicans, outstanding. And then Kevin Falk, I've always been a big fan of his. His cousin actually plays for me. Bailey Spain made a huge 4th down tackle this last weekend for us, and he's always bragging about Kevin. He's always bragging about Coach Tony there, Karen Crow. Tony actually was Kevin's coach as well, and he texts me every game, you know, and asks how Bailey did, and the impact that these high school coaches have on their student athletes is just tremendous. And I just wanted to make sure you realize that Bailey looks up to you big time, Kevin. And then Garrett, I wanted to tell you an interesting story about one of your former teammates. My nephew, who I never thought would ever play football in his life. I'm from Kansas City. And this summer I went up to visit my relatives up in Kansas City. I wanted to go watch my nephew Stone lift weights. So I go to his weight room where he's lifting weights, and his high school coach and his strength coach is Mark Simon, and who's on the Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints teams in College Football Hall of Fame. And the impact he's had on my nephew has just been incredible. I asked Stone, I said, you know who this guy is? He said, yeah, he's my coach. I said, this guy played 10 years in the NFL, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, all these other things. And Mark went up, put his arm around my nephew, and he said, Coach, we were so excited to have your nephew in our football program. What an unbelievable job he does each and every day. And the kid's chest just stuck out, and I don't think he'll ever make a play for him. I'm almost certain he'll never make a play for him. But he is a part of something that really means a lot to him, and that's the impact that these high school coaches have. Nick just got done speaking. I am a huge fan of Nick and also his father. When I first came to New Orleans, his dad reached out and we got to develop a friendship. And I went to one of the first high school games I went to was St. Charles Catholic playing. And I don't know if y'all ever went and watched Coach Frank coach a game. The kids were standing on the sideline. They all had their helmet under their left hand. They had their hand across their heart, and they were all singing the national anthem. And you don't see that very often, do you? And they were the most disciplined team I've ever seen on the sideline, and consequently the most disciplined team that I've ever seen play. You know, whoever they played that night, they got after pretty good. But one thing that he threw me for a loop on, Frank called me the other day, and he told me he wanted me to be on his podcast next Tuesday. Now, those of you who know Frank Monica, he's the last person on earth I thought would have had a podcast. So I guess retirement affects people differently, and that's how it's affected Frank. I've got one of his former players on my team as well, Mandel Eugene. He talks to Frank all the time. He's been playing with me for 2 years. Talks to him every week. And just, just got tremendous respect for Frank. I don't have any players from Rummel, but maybe they'll change someday, Nick, I hope. Just kidding. He helps me out all the time. Thank you, buddy. Hey, this Saturday we play Southern Miss, Battle for the Bell. Kids are pumped up about it. 1973 team is going to be recognized between the first and second quarter. They had a great season in 1973. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in this ball game, a lot of talking back and forth. I've got 12 kids on my team from the state of Mississippi, so they're extremely excited about the ball game. And then if you ever get on satellite radio and listen to Bruce Murray, how many of you have heard of Bruce Murray before? Bruce is a Tulane graduate. He's got a radio show with some guy named Brett Favre, who I think went to school at Southern Miss, and they have a bet every year. Whoever wins the bet, if Tulane wins, Brett's got to wear Tulane stuff. If the bad stuff, Bruce would have to wear something on the other side. So there's a lot of attention to this game. I hope you get an opportunity to come out to the ball game. As I've said many times before, it's a perfect place to watch a game. It really is. I remember watching Nick win the state championship. I moved all over the stadium, and I was just so impressed with it because I never get a chance to sit up in the stands. It's a great venue, and hopefully you're able to come out Saturday evening at 6:02 p.m. If not, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. We'd love to have you out there. And once again, Ken, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. Roll wave.